Good afternoon, everyone. For today's lesson, as we're entering our home stretch on the measurement unit, we're going to talk a little bit about working with restrictions, solving for other things in those formulas. So for example, last week when we were working with surface area and volume, and the week before perimeter and area, we were almost always solving for the surface area or the volume or the perimeter. Okay. What today is going to be about is what if I want to go the other way? Okay, so what if I want to start with, say, volume and work out what the height should be or the width should be, something like that. Okay, so to do this, we need to review some equation solving skills. So this is the handout you should have in front of you right now. Okay, this is feeling isolated on one side and has some measurement problems on the other side. Okay, so that's what we're going to be working on. I'm going to lead you through a couple examples to start, leave you some time to work on the rest. Okay, come back, we'll do some back and forth. Okay, so you'll notice, right, these equations, and at the bottom of the page, they've got all these steps. Okay, so here's my version of the same thing that I can actually write on. Okay, so it says, look, it says on the page. So here's my equations. And here's all my steps. So here's my first equation, 22 equals 3x plus 7. And here's all the different steps. Okay, now it's nice because they're kind of giving you a little bit of a hint here. All right, if I'm trying to work this backwards, let's really talk about what this is saying, right? 22 on one side, right? What does this really say? Right, 3x means 3 times x plus 7. So if I was doing this forward, right, if I knew that x was, say, I don't know, 10, right, that means do 3 times 10 and then add 7. When we're solving equations, we're trying to work this in reverse. So if I'm trying to go backwards, right, the last thing I said was add 7. So my first step must be to subtract 7. Okay. The second thing I said I was doing was multiplying by 3. So the opposite of that would be dividing by 3. Okay. So first, let's quickly jot that down. Okay. So step 1 was to subtract 7. Okay. Your letters will be much more intact than mine, I'm sure. Okay. And my second step is to divide by 3. Okay. Now, of course, when we say that, that means to do it to both sides. Okay, and hopefully you're copying down this part in the box there, because you should be. So let's start working those actual steps then. Okay, first one was to subtract 7. I have to do that to both sides. So I have 22 minus 7 equals 3x minus 7. Sorry, plus 7 minus 7. Okay, on this side, 7 take away 7 is 0. So that's gone. That's 3x. Okay, and 22 take away 7 is 15. Okay, done. Okay, next step, divide both sides by 3. So 15 divided by 3, 3 divided by 3. Okay, 3 divided by 3 is 1, that's x. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And we're all done. Okay, and a quick check, right? If I went back to the top, 3 times 5 is 15, and then plus 7 gives me 22, and I am good. So let's do that now with the second equation. Okay, my next equation is 16 minus 8 equals 34. And I know I'm making lots of little changes here, but let's remember I used this one already and I used that one. Okay, so again, this side says it's 6 times a number and subtract 8. So if I want to work that backwards, my first step would be the opposite of subtract 8, which is to add 8. Okay, that must be my first step. So let's do it all together now. This is add 8. So I have 6t minus 8 plus 8 equals 34 plus 8. Okay, on this side they're gone, right? Negative 8 plus 8 is 0. And 34 plus 8 is 42. Yeah, okay. And then what do I need to do now? It was 6 times t. So I'm going to do the opposite of that, which is divide by 6. And maybe I'll just use another color here instead, purple. So divide by 6. So 6 divided by 6, and 42 divided by 6. So that means t is equal to 7. Okay, so again, that's a light review of solving some linear equations. So right now, whoever's running the show here, I would like you to pause the video and let the class work on the next 4 equations for about 5, maybe 10 minutes max. Okay, then come back here and I'll quickly review those, then we'll go on to the next thing. Okay, so you're back, and let's quickly run these through. Okay, for m divided by 2 plus 6 equals 18. Well, we have a plus 6, so the opposite of that would be to subtract 6. So, m, I should write that a little more. We're used to seeing something like that. Okay, m divided by 2 plus 6 minus 6 equals 18 minus 6. Okay, so that means m divided by 2 equals 12. Okay, my next step would be it's divided by 2, so the opposite would be multiply by 2. So when I multiply those sides by 2, 2 times m divided by 2 equals 2 times 12. So m equals 24. And we're good. Okay, to speed this up a bit, for the next few, I'm just going to write the steps of the equation. I'm not going to write the words down. Okay, so negative 21 equals 3 minus 8z. Okay, that 3 is positive. So my first step would be to subtract 3, because then I get a nice 3 minus 3 on this side. So negative 21 take away 3 is negative 24. 3 take away 3 is 0. So negative 8z. Divide both sides by negative 8. Negative 24 over negative 8. Negative 8 over negative 8. 24 divided by 8. Okay, that's going to be 3. Okay, and I have 1, so that's z. That one is finished. Okay. 4k minus 5 is equal to 25. The opposite of subtracting 5 is going to be to add 5. Okay, so negative 5 plus 5, that's 0. So 4k. Negative 25 plus 5. Okay, be careful with your negatives here. It's like negative 25 degrees out and it goes up 5, so it's now negative 20. Divide both sides by 4. 4k divided by 4 equals negative 20 divided by 4. K equals negative 5. Last one. X divided by 4 plus 9 equals negative 1. So x divided by 4 plus 9. The opposite of adding 9 is to subtract 9. Is equal to negative 1 subtract 9. Okay, 9 take away 9. Those are gone. So x over 4 equals negative 10. Okay, last step. I'm dividing by 4. The opposite is to multiply by 4. 4 times negative 10. Okay, so x equals negative 40. And we're done. All right. Okay, so again, the reason we went over that is because now this gives us another way we can kind of use our volume formulas, right? What if I know the volume or the volume I want, and I need to know the dimensions? So please flip the page over. Okay, we're going to do a couple of these together again, and I'm going to turn over to you to work on the others for a little while. Okay. So the first one, the area of a rectangle is 72 centimeters squared. The length is 3. What is the width? Okay, again, you may be able to reason that through in your head pretty quickly what you have to do, but we're going to show the whole process, and I need you to be able to do this process. Okay, so I'm going to start with writing down the formula. Area equals length times width. Okay. The area is 72, so that goes in when I see area. 72 equals, the length is 3. 3. What's the width? I'll put that in brackets. Okay, I don't know what width is. So, okay, I always put brackets to show I substituted something in here, and I should probably technically do it on this side too, right? 72. Well, there's not much to do there, so that means 72 equals 3 times W, so 3W. Now I have an equation to solve, right? What should I do here? Okay, we should divide both sides by 3. Okay, so on this side I'll have just W. And on this side, 72 divided by 3 is 24. Okay. And we're good. So since this is a word problem, a little therefore statement, right? Therefore, the width is 24 centimeters. Okay, that's the basic idea of how this works, right? Plug in what you know, okay, and then solve for the rest. So we're going to go to the one below that. Okay, here's the formula for the area of a trapezoid. Area equals A plus B times H divided by 2. Okay, so just to pause for a second, what this is really saying, if you have some trapezoid, okay, right, the A and the B are the top and the bottom of the trapezoid, okay, and H is the height like this, going straight up and down. Okay, that's what that formula is. The top times the bottom times, sorry, the top plus the bottom. Take that and multiply by the height, and then divide it by 2. Okay, if the area is 19.5 centimeters squared, and the given is A and B, what is the height of the trapezoid? Okay. So, again, here's the formula, but let's write it out again. Area equals A plus B times H, and then divided by 3. Let's fill in what we know. Okay, the area is 19.5. Okay, I know my A and my B. So that is 7 plus 6 times height, and divided by 2. Let's do some tidying up. So 7 plus 6 is 13. So 13 times H. So 13 times H divided by 2. Okay, let's start solving this equation now. So again, as I read that right-hand side, 13 times H and then divided by 2. So we peel them off in the reverse order. If the last thing was divide by 2, so that means I need to multiply both sides by 2. So times 2 equals. Okay, dividing by 2 and multiplying by 2 are opposites, so they're going to go away there. So I have 13H is equal to, let's see, what is 19.5 times 2? That is 39. Okay, now I have 13 times H is 39. Last step will be to divide both sides by 13. Divide that by 13. And 3 is equal to H. So therefore, height is 3, and what unit was this? Centimeters again? Yeah, centimeters. Okay, so there you have it. So for next little while, I would like you to work on the remaining problems on this page. Okay, so hopefully you've taken some time over those problems. Okay, I'm going to take one of them up, okay, just because it's a little bit messier, and then we'll give you final instructions after that. Okay, so I'm going to take up this one. The volume of the cylinder is given by the formula volume equals pi r squared h. If the radius of the cylinder is 8 inches and the volume is 2411.52 inches cubed, or cubic inches, what is the height of the cylinder? Okay, so again, this worksheet was very nice to you because it gave you the formula again. Volume equals pi r squared h. Okay, let's fill in what we know. Okay, we know the volume. This is a lovely number. Okay, and then we have pi, radius squared. So our radius is 8 inches squared times the height. Okay, so first let's do some tidying up. Okay, we can do 8 squared. Okay, so that is 64 h. Okay, and I can multiply that by pi. So let's see. Now I'm using my pi button, and I'm going to round off to, let's say, 4 decimal places for the moment. We'll see how accurate this thing can be. So 201.0619 times h. Okay. And that's all I can do on the right because I just have a number times h. Okay, but we know how to tidy that up. I can divide both sides of that number. So divide that by 201.0619. Oops. Okay, let's see what happens. What is 2401? Okay. So on my calculator, I got 11.99. So I'd say they were intending this to round off to about 12. Okay. So the height of the cylinder, so therefore the height is 12. Okay. So here's what I want you to do for the remainder of class. Okay. Most of you, okay, have not completed at least one of the assignments from this unit, right? Anything from 4A up to 4E. I only marked about 3 or 4 of those 4E's on the weekend, so there's not that many. Okay, so if you have at least one assignment to finish, you should be finishing that assignment and handing it in. Okay, don't worry, it will get to my mailbox. Okay, if you have done everything, and there are a few of you who are, what I would like you to work on for the last little bit of class, okay, on page 402, you should try question number 1. Okay, and maybe try question number 2. Okay, so that's all I'd like you to do. If you're done everything, okay, do those. If not, you have some time to catch up on some assignment work. Speaking of which, okay, in terms of old assignments that you have not handed in yet, okay, I will take them to the end of this week because next week we're starting the ISU and I want to have that all wrapped up. Okay, so any old assignments that you haven't handed in, okay, they have to be in to me by the end of this week. Okay, I will not take any old work from the term after the end of this week. All right, so use your time wisely. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you tomorrow.